All right, you guys, so here I go with my second year in middle school. Right away, maybe about a week into school, some girls started smiling at me a lot. I had her for science.
Mr. Harding.
I had her for Mr. Harding's class. She was a very pretty girl. Yo me acuerdo que estaba muy bonita ella. Right away, she started talking to me. She started telling me oh, do you like to dissect frogs? And I was like, no. Well, what are you into? And I would tell her, well, I like to sing. And she was like, really? Well, I like to dissect frogs. And I was like, oh, I don't. She was like, it's all right, I'll do it for you. She started telling me, do you know how to make carbon dioxide? And I was like, no. And she was like a genius in science, and we became really good friends. Guess what, everybody? She took me out of the library, because remember, I would go to the library and hang out, and she's the one that got me hooked on some cookies and also some donuts. And I remember that I was very anorexic, and thanks to her, at least I would put in at least 50 calories a day into my diet because of those giant cookies that she got me hooked on. So we became really good friends for about 2 weeks, and then she got a boyfriend. And this guy, he wanted, I guess, to grab her. So since he wanted to grab and kiss her, I was the third wheel. And I remember we would meet up in these bungalows. Y un día ella llegó tarde. And me and him were there before she got there. And I remember that he told me, you know what, girl? You got to give us 5 minutes alone, and then you come back because I need some alone time with her. So I kind of started feeling awkward. I stopped hanging around with her, and she would tell me often, why don't you go anymore? Why? I would not give her an explanation. I just stopped. I went back to the library. Guess what? In the library, new staff started coming in. For some reason, everybody in the library hated me, the staff, people that would work there, the faculty. Me decían, what are you doing here? It's strange that, you're here in, lunch and nutrition times. And
Rude ass adults.
they were horrible, you guys, that faculty in the library. You should have seen it. I felt so sad. I would go outside, and I would sit in this bench. It's just that these two security guards, I don't know if they're still there, they would make a lot of conversation with me. So I was I kind of felt kind of awkward, and I was damn. So I would go to this bench that was more that way, because me hablaban mucho, especially the short one. Yes. And I was oh. So one day, I remember that some guys that were a year older than me, they started talking to me a lot. Later on, they became football players at Garfield. Me hablaban mucho, me hacían mucha plática. You could kind of tell that one of them thought I was kind of pretty. But at that time, I was is he playing? Why would this cute guy talk to me? Doesn't he see that I have colorful socks with blonde on them? He would talk to me a lot. Me hacía mucha plática. And on the same week, I remember that some really good looking guy that kind of looked like Gael Garcia Bernal, but without the green eyes, started flirting with me. He would do this to me, and I would go like that. Who is he looking at? I remember that these twin girls went up to me and they told me, hey, my cousin thinks you're cute. He wants your number. And I was like, my number? I told her, it's because my mom doesn't let me give out my number. One of the twins looked at the other one and went, what? It's because my mom doesn't let me give out my number. They were like, okay.
Toilet paper es toallitas.
You don't want to give me your number and we'll talk in three-way? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Cada que yo pasaba, las girls me hacían plática. Me decían, you don't think my cousin's cute? So I remember that I turned around and I see a lot of guys. And I seen un guy que estaba bien gordito. And he would you know the milk things? After se los acababa de tomar, he would hit him in his forehead. And I get, that's probably the cousin. Because I don't think none of the other guys are going to want to date me. Look at me. And it happened to be the cutest one in all of the crowd. He was a tagger. He would hang around with like a bunch of taggers. I remember that a bunch of girls thought he was cute. And they told me him right there. And they called out his name. I remember that they went, Robert. And he picked up his hand and I was like, him? Like through the inside, yo me acuerdo que I was like, I wonder si están jugando like un concurso. A ver who takes the loser from the middle school out. The one that takes her out, los vamos a ganar $100. Because it was like, what? He wants to date me? He thinks I'm pretty? So I gave her the number and I told her, you have to call me on three-way because my mom is super strict. So they started calling me on three-way, and like little by little, he got my number and he would call me like at certain hours that he knew that I wouldn't get in trouble. Every day he would walk me from school and he asked me to be with him. He was my official first boyfriend and he would introduce me to everyone. He took me to like dances at school. He took me to the Halloween dance. I remember that I got smacked by my mom because I got there late. I got to my house late. I still had a babysitter. My babysitter got me in trouble with my mom. You guys, it was like, you guys, I was like in shock that I had a boyfriend. Every day I would go like this to myself. I remember that he asked me if he was able to kiss me, and I told him that I don't know, I wasn't ready to kiss him yet. And I gave him a kiss in the cheek. Guess what, you guys? 2 months into the relationship, he got in a fight at school and he got kicked out to Griffith Middle School. I said, OMG, is this gonna be my luck for the rest of my life? I broke up with him because I was like, he's too hot and I know he's gonna cheat on me in that school. He's gonna break my heart. And I decided to break up with him. After that, remember those guys, the ones that became football players at Garfield later on in school? They would keep talking to me. I had this class where I had this girl that would wear a lot of makeup. She kind of looked like a chola. She would give me dirty looks. Un día ella miró que these guys started talking to me. And the next day, she started talking to me. And I was like, what? What's the change? She told me, you talk to them? Because I think one of them is cute. And I was like, oh, that's what she's talking to me. But I was like, whatever, just take it, girl. Me and her started becoming friends. She was like a super abusive friend. We're going to call her Nora. She was super abusive. She would get mad for everything. Everything I would do was wrong. I remember that like she would make me cry and I was like, wow, like I'm gonna have to just take it because I don't have no friends, and basically it's not gonna get better for me. In another class, I started talking to some other girl that I knew cuando estaba más chiquita. I remember that I used to live in some apartments called 5th Street, and she lived in the bottom. And we used to always see each other because of our parents. We started being really good friends in class. Me dijo, I'm sorry that, I've never defended you, but it's just that my mom said, like, not to defend you because you have a lot of problems. A lot of people hate you. I started telling my other friend, the one that, Nora. I started telling Nora, there's this girl, you think we could go hang around with her sometimes? And she was like, no. And I was like, why not? She was like, because I don't want to. I just want it to be me and you, and I'm going to select the people we're going to hang around with. Because next year, we're going to be popular. And I was like, but it's because this girl, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Un día, yo no sé si era porque yo nomás estaba de malas. Maybe my period came down too hard. I decided to stand up to her and I told her, no, you know what? We're going to hang around with her. If you don't like it, you could go and leave because I'm going to hang around with her. She's cool. I like her. I'm not going to diss her. She said, well, you know what? Go with your friend because guess what? Our friendship is over. She left to go hang around with girls that would bully me. I didn't even have them for classes. They would just see me and they would bully me because a lot of guys in my neighborhood, like where I live, they thought I was pretty. I don't know why, but they did. I remember that some girl that was a year older than me approached me one day and she told me, girl, they bully you a lot, huh? Why don't you start trying to dress different? Like that, maybe they'll stop bullying you. There's this store on Whittier Boulevard. It's called Forever 21. Is that Fashion 21?
It used to be called Fashion 21.
She told me in the very back there's some pants that they're on sale. Since you're like super skinny, you could catch those pants in the back. They're like $5 each. So I was like, all right, let me go give it a try. I remember that I got some pants. They were like, I got like green ones, burgundy ones, because like that was just in that time. And guess what, you guys? Since I'm super tall, todos me quedaban high waters. All my pants me quedaban high waters. But at least I did that. I also started putting my hair up en una cola. Y como mi pelo estaba up en una cola, I don't know, it just wouldn't look. Se me miraba como un mapeador kind of. And I tried. I mean, I got a like a tiny makeover, at least on my clothes. And I started hanging around with this new girl. We're going to call her Christina. Christina was my friend. I got along with her. She was really funny. She made like my time fly, de tan chistosa que era. She took me to her crowd. And her crowd consisted of, remember the boy, the one that my sister was dating, Ho?
In 6th grade?
Her sister and 2 other girls. The 2 other girls were super nice, but Ho's sister just didn't like me. I don't know why. I remember that I would try everything to like kind of kiss her ass, but nothing would work. And one day I just told my friend Christina, you know what, girl? I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna go back to the library because I could tell that your friend doesn't like me. Me hace mucha cara de puchi. And I don't know. And I just rather go to the library. She told me, no, don't. I'm gonna go with you. Anywhere that you go, I'm gonna go. I was like, really? She told me, yeah. If she's rude to you, guess what? I'm gonna go with you. So we decided to just break the little clique up, and me and her started hanging around on our own. And that's my 2nd year in middle school.
All right, guys. So here we go with my 7th grade year at Stevenson Middle School. Like, we had to wear uniform in Stevenson. My 6th grade year, we wouldn't wear uniform. My 7th grade year, we started wearing uniform. I would buy these really big, like Ben Davis pants, Vans, some Nikes. I would wear like some blouses that were like tight. I started wearing like more mascara. I remember, you guys, that the first day of school, I told my crowd of friends, you guys, we gotta be popular. I remember that I started telling my friend Dopey, come on, let's take over. Let's me and you be the popularest girls. She started being kind of weird to me. I remember that she started telling me, you're weird. Why do you want to be so popular? What are you trying to like prove? Or like, why are you trying to like fit in? And I remember I was like, damn, why is this girl complicating her life? Like, we could just plan it together, be a team, and be popular together. So I just started ignoring her, like, oh yeah, whatever. Why? Because you do you and I'll do me. We were still friends, but we kind of like didn't have the same mindset. So I kind of started clicking more with some other girl. We're gonna call her Kay. So I remember that I started telling this girl Kay, look, Kay, I know it might sound weird, but I want to be popular. I want to be like the popularest girl of my class. She was like, yeah, I feel you. Like, feel me in. Huh? Okay, so I want to hang around. I know we're good here. We're like, you know, we're a lot of 7th graders. But I want to start hanging around with the 8th graders. And I remember that my friend Kay was like, all right. So I kind of started like planning stuff out with her. Like, why don't we start telling them that like we want to get involved with them? Like, I don't know, let's kind of like start talking to them.
Brainstorming, right?
A couple of days later, I remember that my friend Kay told me, hey, the 8th graders said for us to go up there. So the 8th graders came down. They told me like, hey, what's up? Who's Maggie? So what's up? You want to hang around with us? And I remember that I went up and I started hanging around with them. It was me, my friend Kay, and my friend, the one that was she lived by my house. We'll call her Roller Girl. The 8th graders were cool. They started like accepting me into the crowd and everything. In that crowd, you guys, there was this one guy. So we're gonna call this guy Aiden. This guy Aiden, so he's the brother of the guy that won for most attractive with me, the older brother. So I remember that this guy Aiden had a crush on me since we were like 5th graders. And I remember that this guy Aiden, started telling all of his 8th grade friends, tell Maggie that I want to hook up with her. Tell Maggie that I want to hook up with her. This guy kept like trying to like hook up with me. I would curb him, you guys. Like I really would. I did not like him. I really didn't. I remember that one day all the 8th graders cornered me and they were like, come on, just hook up with him. So I ended up getting with Aiden. The relationship was like, it was like a kid. Like we were kids. He was an 8th grader. I was a 7th grader. I don't know, you guys. I don't know why I was with this guy for real. I don't know. I was more over here focusing like on myself, on like trying to be popular. I wanted to be popular.
What was like her ultimate goal?
I kind of started noticing, you guys, like if the 7th graders didn't really like me anymore, I was like, I'll deal with that later. Let me handle this right now. I just want to enjoy 7th grade, hang around with the older kids. That's what I like to do. One day, you guys, I remember that this random girl, we're going to call her JJ, she comes up to me out of nowhere and she tells me, hey, I heard you've been talking shit about me. I don't care, like if you hang around with 8th graders, blah blah blah. This girl just went off at me. I was like, who the fuck is this girl? Who is this girl? Did somebody pay her to wait? I was looking around like, where did this girl come from? I've never seen her before. My friend Dopey came and told me, those are the girls that I would tell you in 6th grade that bother me. The girls from the magnet program. And I would go, what's magnet? What? What is that? She was like, I don't know, like it's a group of girls and they just don't like me. And I was like, well, what do I have to do with it? Like, what? So we started passing, you guys. Like when I would be going to 4th period, the crowd of girls would come this way and we would go this way. One day, one of the tall girls from that crowd went like that to me. And I was like, you know what? This is the year of stepping up. I cannot let girls punk me. I have to step up. So I remember that I looked at her back and she told me, what? And I told her, wow, what? And through the inside, I was going, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? So we looked at each other. We like give each other dirty looks. I ran to go tell the crowd of my friends. And I remember that in like during PE, everyone started like asking her like, hey, you want to fight Maggie? And she was like, yeah, I'll fight her. I don't care. And I was like, oh my God. But inside I was going, I can't. When I get home, I'm going to tell my sister. I'm going to tell her best friend. I'm going to tell everyone.
To back me up, please. Oh my God.
So I remember that my sister ended up calling this girl and she was like, yeah, you have problems with her? And she was like, nah, for real. Like, it's not even worth it. So it was that there. The following day, you guys, this girl that would hang around with them started coming in between me and my friend and she would push us. And I was like, what? Who's this girl? Why are they doing me this? Like, huh? Pero yo no me dejaba. Like, I would push her back.
You were scared, pero we were like...
Me and my friend were like, bitch. Like, I was fucking scared, you guys. I was so scared of this girl. A couple of days passed and I remember that this girl comes up to me. That girl, JJ. Not the tall one, but JJ comes up to me. And she tells me, hey, I want to get down with you tomorrow after school. Me and you one-on-one. I remember that I told her, fuck it. Whatever. Through the inside, you guys, I was fucking scared. You guys cannot even imagine. I went to go tell my 8th grade friends. And I remember that the 8th grade girls went right away to go tell her, hey, why do you have shit with my friend Maggie? Like, what has she done to you? And she was like, I don't know. I just don't like her. And they were like, why? That's not a good reason. Like, why do you want to fight her? So a couple of days go by and I remember that my boyfriend was like, really? You're going to get into a fight? I kind of didn't like the way he talked to me that day. And I remember that I told my friend Kay, like, you know what? He's not the one for me. He shouldn't be questioning me, like, if I'm going to fight or not. So I remember that I broke up with him. I remember that everyone was saying that he was really sad. He asked me back. We got back together. 2-3 weeks started going by and this girl started saying that I had ranked out on the fight, meaning like that I was not there. She was saying that I was supposed to meet her somewhere in Yoli's Market, that she was in the front. So I remember that the next day they used to hang around like in a thing that goes down in like the PE area. I started telling my friend, you know what? Let me go confront this girl because I'm not a ranker. Like I like, what is she talking about? So I remember that I started walking in the PE area, and all these girls se me empezaron a juntar like that, like in a line. So I started going at her, and her friends went around her.
Película Blood In and Blood Out. Remember? They all start coming out of the cells.
And I started going towards her, and I remember that I told her, Ada, you're saying that I'm a ranker? She went, yeah. And I told her, no, why? She went, because we were supposed to fight yesterday. I told her, according to whom? Because nobody set up the fight. You've been saying that we're going to get into a fight, but that's about it. At that moment, Miss Harris comes, and she tells you, Margarita, what are you doing? So she called me and the girl in. I remember that me and the girl were telling one another, like, let's not rat on one another. Let's just pretend like we're cool, like we're planning a sleepover. So we started telling the Miss Harris, no, nah, we're cool, we're friends, like, you know, nada que ver. A couple of days passed. We got into a fight. I got into my first fight in 7th grade. So I remember, you guys, that after the fight, this girl just took it like a G. She was just like, I kicked her ass. That's it. Moving along. Much respect. I remember that the brother of the guy that I was with, he started telling me, hey, your boyfriend likes this girl. Why? He's gonna cheat on you with her. He's gonna leave you for her. So I broke up with this guy again. And I remember that this guy was like, why did this girl keep breaking up with me? So he asked me back. We got back together. Oh my God, you guys. A month later, this guy dumps me. He breaks up with me for this girl. Why? But this girl, why, was like, you know what? Bros before hoes. She came and she told me, well, I'm not going to get with him.
Misters. Okay.
I'm not going to get with him. I'm not going to get with him. But I will scam on him, but I won't get with him. I remember that I told her, no, you could do whatever you want with him. I don't care. This guy ended up getting kicked out. By this time, I kind of started noticing, like, in my own class was, like, curbing me. Como que decían that I was, like, too conceited. So, like, it kind of started worrying me. Because my main objective was to win for most attractive. I remember that I started telling...
class favorite?
I started telling my friend Kay, you know what? I think that we kind of have to start getting involved a little bit more with the 7th graders. So I started telling her. So we kind of started like squeezing ourselves into that crowd of the girl, the best dancer, because she had this big old crowd. A lot of the kids were not really feeling me, so I kind of had to like kiss a lot of ass. A lot of them were kind of like, so where are your 8th grade friends at? A couple of weeks passed by. My friend, that girl that I called Dopey, she got into like the 100th fight at school. We were like those kids that we would always go putazos. So like after school there was always a fight, and I was always there, like front row. Like I was always there watching. Oh, I remember, you guys, that like a security guard there, he ratted on me. I remember that he went to go tell Miss Harris, like it was Naggy, and it was like this girl Dopey, this girl Kay was there, this girl S. So she called me into the office. And I remember that she told me, you know what, Margarita, I'm sorry I made the decision, but I'm going to go ahead and OT you from the school. And I told her, what? She told me, yeah, I'm going to OT you from the school. I went, why? And she went, because you're just a distraction to the school. You're a bad influence. I told her, why? I don't do nothing. No, I told her, but I don't do anything. I've only gotten into one fight, which I had to defend myself from, and that's it. My grades are not bad. No, don't argue with me. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna get kicked out. If you kick me out of school, I just won't go to school anymore. Like, Miss Harris, you can't do this to me. I have a goal. My goal is to run and win most attractive here at school. She was looking at me like, what? So me and my mom, you guys, we did like this big old protest against Stevenson Middle School. The school ended up kicking out my friend Dopey to Belvedere, my friend Kay to Griffith Middle School. My friend S, her mom just took her out of school, and I think they moved to like Whittier. I was the only one there, and I remember that I kept fighting and I kept fighting and I kept telling them, and thanks to my mom, you guys, we would go every day and we would go fight. I was a brave little girl. I remember, you guys, that I ended up getting kicked out because they were gonna kick me out for like the remaining semester, like the whole 4 months of second semester. I got kicked out, you guys, for 8 weeks because I fought and I fought. I ended up going to City of Angels in the city of Highland Park. So at that moment, you guys, that stood in my mind, like, oh my goodness, like I have to be back in time to win like the friends, like the 7th graders, because I lost a lot of time.
And you need votes to win for favorites.
So I remember that in that time, you guys, me and this girl, we're gonna call her Everly. Me and Everly kind of had like a shady relationship because her best friend was that girl that was best dancer, and I would hang around with the 8th graders that would bully her. I remember that we ended up, because she got kicked out for taking a knife to school, and I had gotten kicked out. She was going to a school, I think it's the East LA Occupational Center or Marengo. It's like, I don't know, it's like the middle school in the East Los Angeles Occupational Center. I would take the bus to Highland Park, and I remember that every Wednesday, because I was in home studies, I would see her, you guys, like on the bus, and one day she walks in and she's like, Maggie? And I'm like, yeah, hi. And she's like, yeah, I heard you got kicked out. Me and this girl, you guys, started like this beautiful friendship where like we would bond and we were really good friends. So I remember, you guys, that I ended up going back 2 months after, and this girl calls me, Everly, and she's like, guess what? I'm going back to school the same day you are. Oh my God, I was so excited. So I remember that when I went back to school, to 7th grade, I remember that it was me and my crowd of girls. It was like me and 9 girls, and it was her. There were a lot. There were probably like 20 girls. I remember, you guys, that we ended up clicking together. We made this big old crowd, you guys. I started interacting with all these 7th graders. I started getting like everybody's number. I got with this other guy. We're gonna call him Manny. This guy, Manny, he was high all day, every day. I don't even think he knew his name.
Didn't even know he was with you?
I don't even think he knew we were together. We got together, you guys, he cheated on me. I remember that his cousin that had him for classes, he was so sad. His name was Lawrence. He was like, oh my God, my cousin cheated on you. This guy cheated on me. I broke up with him right away. I don't even think he cared. I don't even... So my 7th grade, that's how it went. It was cool. I ended up the year with like just talking to everyone.
I think that's gonna end it with a bang. What she just said. I'm done. You go on.